5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire. The only thing we have to fear is fear.
Mile 18.
This is Endurance Nation.
Are you tired of just losing your fitness every year? Of getting out there on the open road come springtime and everyone else is still faster than you and you're not making progress? We understand. We created the Out-Season program just for you. It's a 14-week protocol for triathletes and gravel cyclists with an opportunity to lock in through your Zwift workouts and focused training to unlock your potential by targeting functional threshold and high VO2 workouts with some endurance on the weekends. We build your fast before you're far. So by the time you get to the spring, you can turn down the fast and start adding some volume when the weather gets nice and unleash your endurance potential. Stop following the same program and hoping you get different results. Head over to endurancenation.us/outseason to get our 14-week program for one low price now.
So every year, endurance athletes make the same mistake. Right? They jump right into their training, but without a clear plan. The result, people burn out, they have injuries, they have missed goals. Well, what if I told you there was 10 simple and straightforward ways that you could start your year? I'm not talking about like running more miles or just going crazy at the gym. I'm actually like really intentionally being smart, right? Today, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about why, for example, planning your week starting on Sunday night is a total game changer, right? I'm going to tell you what a garbage workout is and why you want to avoid it unless it's Monday night. You got to take out the trash like me. And how can you stop doing one so you don't sabotage your progress? And how, even, you won't believe this, but even a single long session once a month can make a massive difference in your aerobic fitness over the course of the year. We're going to go through all of that here today. So whether you're a seasoned runner, you're a dedicated cyclist, you're someone who's done mountain bike races or endurance things, these strategies are really your playbook for success. So don't feel like right now at the start of your year that you have to go crazy. Instead, this is a great opportunity for you to lay a great foundation for the months ahead. Because when it comes to endurance training, it's not about the one big workout that defines your success. It's those small habits that we repeat again and again to make things work really well for you. Okay. So the next few minutes, I'm going to break down each of these strategies in detail, from weekly planning to going through and starting up smart, like with your warm up. I'm going to talk a little bit about testing, prioritizing sleep, all the things, if you're ready. Okay. So when you've thought about this in the past, you've gone ahead and done exactly the wrong thing, which is setting big goals for January. You're like, oh, I need to be able to run 35 days in a row, right? Because January clearly has 35 days. But got to do this much cycling, got to do this much swimming. I'm gonna move 10,000 pounds of weight or whatever your goals may be. Those are big, bold, audacious things. However, we don't have the seasonal structure, the fitness, the equipment, if you will, to do it. We have the willpower. We've got this idea, but forcing our body to jump through those hoops only leads to disaster. So get a pen, get notes, or just save this one, and we'll go through it together so you're ready. Okay? Here we go. Tip number one, plan each week on Sunday night. Now, this is a really key one, and most people miss out because they just put the workouts on the calendar. They wake up and just do whatever they're told by robots or a training plan or whatever it may be. But really, endurance training, it doesn't happen by accident, right? It happens by design. And there's the design of a plan, but then there's also the design of how you actually execute and put together a week. That's where you add your nuance. You've got to move things around for carpool or for work, for inclement weather, whatever it may be. But if you can just take those 20 minutes once a week, it allows you to not only plan ahead and avoid many of the obstacles that are present now, not present when you wrote the thing or when the person you paid wrote the thing, but you're also learning how to adapt on the fly. And that's a really important and foundational investment in your progress. So I think it's a great way for you to move forward and think a little bit about how you do it. So for example, so you can set a weekly goal and then you can work towards it. You can schedule your key workouts, make sure in the out season, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday are on lock. So those are good, or adjust them accordingly. You can plan your recovery time, turn a really busy day at the office into a recovery day. You can take advantage of this and use it to structure your week as opposed to having it show up and dynamite what it is that you've built, right? Most of all, just stay flexible. Life's going to throw you curveballs, especially at this time of year. It's fine. Just roll with the punches instead of fighting them, and you'll be okay. Once you get into this process, you realize wow, I can actually make a fundamental difference, increase my ability to complete the week, string together better workouts in a week, and then better weeks across weeks. And this really starts to add up. This is the advantage that mostly elite athletes have had on you, right? They don't have a professional commitment. They don't have to worry about food shopping. Everything's sort of dialed in for them through their sponsors. They've just got to follow the plan. Well, in a way, this 20-minute investment every week can actually help you just follow the plan. All right. Number two, avoid those dreaded garbage workouts. Look, not every workout is created equal. In fact, some workouts are just worse than skipping them altogether. Like, we call these garbage workouts because they just do nothing for you. What does it mean? So garbage isn't just like a bad workout. It's just a workout without a purpose. It's just trash, right? It's just like eating a bunch of junk food. It's just junk food for your body. So you're not getting any good return out of it from a fitness perspective. It may make you like overly fatigued. You may just be stuck in like a gray zone, maybe not getting enough time for recovery, or you're just kind of going through the motions. Whatever the signal may be for you, you have to understand that this is just not going to be a great session for you. So if you identify some of those signals, like being in that gray zone, always being fatigued, there's no clear main set or objective in your plan, it's a warning sign. And you want to eject from that workout as much as possible. In the wintertime, I'd vastly prefer that you took a rest day instead of doing training that's going to set you back, or just as bad, not move you forward. So how do you avoid garbage workouts? Well, you have a plan. So you have a really well-written plan. Garbage isn't going to be in there to start out with, but you have to take the time, make an investment to get it right. Number two, you got to follow that plan or adapt it, just like we talked about in that first tip, to make sure that it works for you and you've got a great sort of process to work through that plan. And then finally, just make sure you know what the rationale for each session is. If the rationale for the session is just get stronger or just get fitter, that's not going to work, right? Because we want to do more than just that as we get out there. We might actually see results as we go forward, okay? At the end of the day, great training is quality over quantity. And we can enforce that here in the wintertime when it's dark, it's cold, we don't want to be outside. But you need to bring that mentality in the regular season as well. When the weather's nicer and you want to go longer and those things, you actually want to be on top of that. And we can do that together by putting those habits into place right now. So now each one serves a clear purpose, or something like that. And I think it would actually be really good for you. So the next time you find yourself doing a garbage workout, do yourself a favor. Or if you see a friend getting into one, back it out. We don't want to get into it. Like, just get rid of it. All right. Tip number 3, adding a strength circuit to your week. So one of the most important workouts that endurance athletes skip is actually the one that actually leads to strength, particularly as we age. They'll look at strength on the bike or strength on the run and say, I'm pretty strong. Look, I can run so much better than someone else my age, or I can ride so much faster or stronger than the competition. That is technically strength. It's aerobically oriented strength. But what I'm talking about here specifically is range of motion, dynamic and banded strength, or dynamic functional weight strength. The goal here is that it doesn't have to be crazy. I don't need you to go to the gym and throw around weights or get in some sort of crazy competition about like the number of pull-ups and times you can run around the block where you beat your chest. No. We're just talking about fundamentals, right? Inside Endurance Nation, for our out season, we've got an out season circuit. We call it the Lama Loop. And this circuit workout is a great opportunity to build some functional strength. We do things from squat presses to upright rows to lunge squats, a little bit of everything, fire hydrants, all the good stuff to activate the hips, work the upper body, tie in the core, all that good stuff. And this adds the element to your durability. It helps you become stronger. And the best part is this investment over a couple of weeks in the winter, say January through March, actually sets you up to be really successful for the rest of the year. You don't have to do weights every single week or every single day. If you make that investment now, it actually carries you through a larger part of the season and helps you, once again, avoid those hidden obstacles that we wouldn't have been able to avoid had we not done this type of work. So really being smart about it, right? So don't rush when you do this type of strength work. Don't go nuts with it. Like, ease into it. The first couple of times you should be sore, but that doesn't mean work harder. Just give yourself time to rest and recover. And then don't skip it. Like, do yourself a favor. In the out season, we do Monday, Fridays. Really lock in those Monday, Fridays and make that commitment. You'll be amazed how after even just 2 weeks, 4 sessions, you'll feel fundamentally different when you're moving dynamically during your aerobic sessions. You'll notice the activation of the muscles, control, and it's going to set you on the path to being really successful this winter. So reduce that injury risk, get really smart. Let's get into it. All right. Tip number 4, warming up for your runs. Look, it's already cold enough outside. To not do a warm up in the winter is literally like saying, I want to get injured. It's like raising your hand and saying, please make sure these runs are not as effective. Now, warm ups, some people consider them to be fluff. Some people think they're procrastination. But done right, a good warm-up actually activates the right muscles and prepares you to move dynamically through space as you get ready for your run. And running is that sport. Like, you need to focus on it. It's not as friendly or as accommodating as swimming, where if you make a wrong stroke, you're still in water. Like, hey, now no problem. You take a wrong step, miss one going up or downstairs, trip over something, or just go too fast, like strain something, you can really set yourself back. So particularly in the winter, when it's cooler and we've been a little more sedentary than normal, like maybe you're only hitting like 6,000 or 7,000 steps a day instead of 10,000 steps a day, then you actually want to really be smart and actually include that run warm up in the process for you. So if you're indoors on a treadmill, it could just be 10 to 15 minutes of walking and gradually increasing the incline and the pace to where you're jogging. That's great, right? We just want to get the blood flowing, etc. Once you get past that sort of tingling sensation, you say like, oh, I'm actually working out, you're in a pretty good place. We also recommend the 7-way hips, and I'll link that in the video below. It's a great tool from some of the experts who used to work for Nike around how to activate your hips appropriately and your glutes so you can move, again, really well through space as you run. Great running is built around great form, and you can't do it if you're not actually warmed up. If you don't warm up and you just go out and run, you're running, but you're actually just reinforcing poor form, which is going to set you back as well. So we don't want that, right? So and build this warm up, and ultimately you don't have to use it all year when you run, but again, for those long runs, actually use it, right? Like, you got a 90-minute run coming up, do a 5-minute run warm up, get stretched up, get activated, be ready. You can have a much better run overall. You'd be amazed at how much better you feel, and actually puts you more in tune with your body and where you're at, which I think is like an underrated benefit of this. All right, number 5, halfway there, my friends. Number 5, test your bike and run fitness regularly. Listen, you can't improve what you don't measure. Right? If you just don't know where you are right now, then you can't change what it is. You can guess, you can try and figure it out. But at the end of the day, you're really just possibly, most likely, going in circles or, again, doing work that doesn't make a difference. You want to avoid those garbage workouts. And the best way to turn almost all of your workouts into garbage workouts is to just not test, just to not know where you are. Functional testing is literally like finding yourself on a map and saying, I'm halfway between here and Newark, New Jersey. I want to get all the way to Newark, New Jersey, because Jersey, that's right. Then how am I going to do it? I'm going to break it into pieces. This is how I'm going to build it out. That gives all the context to your decision-making, in addition to listening to your body, in addition to according to your schedule, being a good human being, all those things for sure. But the functional testing is what actually gives you the benchmark. And of course, it's really tough at first. People are a little scared of testing because it's going to hurt. I'm not advising you to go so hard that you actually physically hurt yourself, but it's going to be challenging. Like the last part of a well-done functional test is really hard for the last couple of minutes. Obviously check with your medical professional, your person, your primary, whatever it may be. But you want to be ready to do the work. And the best way to prepare yourself is doing some regular training for a couple of weeks and then go out and do one of these tests. You don't have to do anything crazy to go to a lab. You can do functional tests. Inside Endurance Nation, we do a 5-minute plus 20-minute bike test, or you can do a ramp test if you want to. If you've got a provider online you can use for your bike and a smart trainer. And then for the run, we recommend a 5K. Again, just long enough that you can't go so nuts that you're going to crush yourself, but long enough that it's going to hurt and you're going to feel that burn. There's nothing like that last half mile in a 5K when you've gone out pretty fast and just feeling your legs slow down like there's glue in the joints. Yeah, it's tough. And really what you're getting at there is the fitness you need to be successful, but not about building speed and going nuts here. It's really about saying, where am I at? And we'll go back afterwards and look at heart rate, pacing, cadence, et cetera, or heart rate and power on the bike, for example, and figure out what part is really working well, where are you strong, and where do you need to evolve? And all of that's possible by taking a look at that data. So don't cheat yourself, okay? Get in there and do it. And if you don't even have a power meter or a GPS watch, you can still do a heart rate test. Those are a little different. You may want to reach out to us at endurancenation.us. Go to the chat widget, ask us for those protocols. We're happy to give them to you. But ultimately, this test is going to help you out. Roughly about every 6 weeks is great to do. Once you get in season, you really only will test either at the start of your plan to kind of set your zones, or just before we race to kind of recalibrate for the race day to make sure we're on track. We don't test as much in season as we do in the winter, as we're rapidly gaining fitness now. In season, we're pretty static with the level of fitness that we have. Okay. So be patient with yourself and embrace testing and learn to get good at it, because testing itself is a skill. Learning how to pace yourself, pick the right venue, delegate your effort appropriately across the interval. It's actually another milestone in your evolution as an endurance athlete, and done right, it actually makes you a pretty formidable competitor. All right, number 6, take your bike in now for TLC. Just did this myself. It's the wintertime right now and you can't get outside. It's a perfect time to take your bike in. Otherwise, we got to wait till it breaks, and then you got to take it in, but you want it, and then you got to figure out what you're going to do when you don't have a bike, or you got to use a different bike, or borrow someone's bike, or just not bike, which is like scream emoji dangerous for your mental health. So a bad bike, ultimately, with poor components or just not well maintained, is not only going to make you slower, could put you at risk. I myself just took my gravel bike in, found I got a nice little chunk missing out of the bottom bracket there. Never would have seen it on the bottom of my bike. I'm not lifting my bike over my head or flipping it upside down and staring at that. Had no idea it was there, but now I know I can fix it, take care of it, and make sure that I'm going to be safe this year. Similarly, our components, not as dramatic, but they also have wear and tear. They're also going to reduce your performance. So you can do maintenance work during the year, but at this time of year is a great time to take it in and find out, do you need a new chain? Do you need a new cassette? Let's make that purchase now so it doesn't destroy your front chainring or some other part of your bike just with inaction, right? Or your headset freezes or your brakes are just not working as well. Let's address that now. It's a great time to get things every dialed in so that when the weather turns nice, you can just get up and go. You don't have to be like, I don't have enough sealant in my tires, or I forgot that the rear brake doesn't really work so well. Like those are all the types of silly mistakes that really get us injured because we don't have our A game on the riding side, but we're going outside because we're super excited with the weather, but we're riding on like an F plus bike in terms of maintenance. That's a recipe for disaster, my friends. All right. So don't do it. Take the time to do it right. All right. Tip number 7, pick one day a month to go long. This is my favorite one. I'm a huge fan of volume, although I recognize most age group athletes don't have the capacity to do it on a regular basis. So what do you do, right? Like, do you quit your job and start training all the time? No. Do you wait 20 more years till you retire and then start training and forgo all these years? No. What we do is we follow a really well-designed, straightforward program designed in the wintertime to make you stronger and faster through intervals and quality with plenty of rest. And then one day a month, just one day a month, we say, you know what, we're going to do a big day. So it could just be a big day on the bike, or you could add some running in there or some hiking. Maybe you want to go do some exploring or hit the pool or the elliptical. I don't really care what it is, but take your sort of weekly volume. If you're like 10 hours or 12 hours, let's try and get half of that aerobically on that day. Not the first time. So month 1, maybe you do like 4 hours, and month 2, you do 5 hours, and month 3, you get 6 hours. So as your half of your 12 hours a week, that's amazing. You'll be blown away by just how hard the first session is for you, but then also by the end, how well you've adapted. And when you move outside, you've got this perfect combination of plenty of quality work and rest with just a few longer sessions that have you mentally and physically ready to go longer, but you're indexed on the dial to be like 95% strength and speed. That combination of having the patience to be able to go long and like exercise that mental muscle in the wintertime with the majority of your work being fast actually is a really, really powerful combination. It allows you to exit into a full season where you have the capacity to go longer, but you're carrying none of that long-term, long endurance fatigue, which can really undermine your ability to perform at a high level. Because remember, speed isn't just about working harder. It's about being more efficient and dynamic with your movements, and you can do that. Okay? All right, awesome. So again, you can choose your structure for how you want to do it, but that's my favorite part. All right. Number 8, commit to an active lifestyle versus more training. And this is something like really important for you to think about. Most people dial in on the more training, right? They say like, hey, you know what? If I train an hour today, I could train 2 hours or 3 hours. So I could find more time. It's not just about jamming more training into your day. It's saying, how do I take the other 23 hours of my day or 22 and a half hours of my day and make them active, right? So maybe spend more time on your feet and maybe make good food choices. Maybe you walk the dog, you're taking out the trash, you're helping a neighbor. You do your food shopping, you ride your bike to the store, like whatever that is. But that active lifestyle helps you take this athletic mindset and expand it to your entire life as an athlete, helping you make better decisions about just general movement, about better self-care. You can say I'm an athlete, and you are when you have all your kit on and you're working out. But when you take all of this stuff off, like you look like an ordinary person to me. I mean, I honestly don't even know what you look like without those glasses and the hat and the Lycra on. So let's start to identify a little bit more in our daily activities with that active lifestyle. It can make a big difference. Oftentimes when people are missing some running mid-season, I'll tell them to go for a long hike or walk. And they'll say, well, I mean, like it's not a run, like my heart rate doesn't even get up. But they'd be surprised after 3 hours of walking just how tired their legs are. And you can actually bring that level of fatigue, very low level in the winter, and use it to your advantage here by doing the work consistently in the wintertime, right? So start moving, maybe a light like walking streak or lunchtime walking. You can add in some yoga or some kind of mobility. Break up your time at work. Don't just sit here like, hey, every 40 minutes, half an hour, get up, stand, stretch, move around, do some push-ups. Always choose your stairs over elevators, like walk whenever you can instead of driving short distances or errands. Play sports, like be active, like go outside, hit around. My kid plays volleyball, go outside, hit the ball around for volleyball. Even in the wintertime, you can get a couple minutes in there before things get cold. It just all adds up to make you a happier human. If you love doing endurance events, then being more mobile, more active during the day is just going to light you up. It's like free coffee without all the caffeine inside of it, just kind of get the energy going, right? So don't be crazy. Don't go nuts and turn this fun stuff into a crazy activity. And also don't assume that like walking from here to the fridge counts. Strike a balance there, but it can make you a better and stronger athlete. Tip number 9. This one hits home for me. Please prioritize your sleep. If you're looking for the ultimate endurance performance hack, it's not a supplement, it's not gear or a special diet. It's actually just getting more sleep because most athletes simply don't get enough of it. Sleeping isn't downtime or away from training time, it's recovery time. During deep sleep, your body repairs muscles, it consolidates training adaptations, it regulates hormones like growth hormone and cortisol. And skimping on sleep means that you're just slowing your recovery, you're increasing your risk potential, and you're reducing your performance. Most athletes need about 7 to 9 hours a night of sleep. And elite athletes probably even need even more. And if you've ever followed a documentary of an elite athlete, you're like, they're sleeping again? Like, what was all the exciting racing stuff? Like, no wonder they're so excited to race. The rest of the day, they're inside, like laying down horizontal. It must feel great to be outside on a bike and be free instead of locked into that bedroom, right? So how do you do it? Number one, you stick to a routine. Like go to bed, wake up as close as you can at the same time every day. Create a sleep-friendly environment, like cool, dark, quiet. You want to limit your screen time before bed. You want to avoid late-night stimulants like coffee, caffeine, sugar, things like that. And you want to use relaxation techniques, deep breaths to get you settled, or reading before bed, blue light, etc. All of that, right? Don't want to work out late at night. You don't want to skip sleep for workouts in the morning, and you don't want to use sleep aids to kind of artificially get you to sleep. Your body can tell the difference. It's not great for you, right? Prioritizing sleep isn't about like being lazy or not moving. It means I'm actually accelerating your ability to recover and move on to the next phase of your training. It doesn't always have to be the same. It's not like you need 8 hours every single night, but it's learning more about what helps you sleep better, getting better at sleeping so you enjoy it. It becomes like a little bit of a high quality session for yourself personally. And the days that you do need it, it'll really pay off. So for me, I've got 1, maybe 2, depending on the day, days off where I don't need an alarm in the morning. Those are the best days of the week, hands down, because I get to sleep in and just really, really get that deep, extended sleep. And the only reason it's possible isn't just because I have flexibility on a weekend day, for example. It's also because I know how to set up the room for sleep. I know where the light's coming from. I can block it out. And I can really make sure I do all the right things before I get to bed. It adds up massively. This is one of those changes that doesn't just improve your fitness, it improves the rest of the quality of your life. It improves your mood, it improves your reaction time, it improves your ability to make decisions. The upside here is incredibly massive. So just do it. Like, don't wait. Finally, let's get your act together. Let's do it. And last but not least, let's plan something to get motivated. Now, I know I talked about doing one volume thing a weekend, but really, let's find something fun to do. Inside Endurance Nation, people will do like a virtual Everest. They'll do a half marathon. There's a variety of different things that you can do to kind of build up what your strength might be in terms of a work perspective. But what we're looking for here is just something that's just long enough that you're like, ooh, that's going to be some work there, but not so long that you've got to alter your training to get there. What we want is something that's going to really sort of reach out and challenge you. For those of you who are winter sports fanatics, maybe this is like a cross-country skiing thing, or maybe it's just a big hike. For those of you who love to do other particular types of sports, maybe there's an early season like gravel race or something that you want to do that could be fun. Or you can tie something in with a competition. Sometimes like gyms or whatever will have competitions about like last person standing or like a backyard ultra type style thing. Whatever it is, put it on your calendar. Let's challenge yourself. Don't do it when it's freezing cold. Like, don't put yourself at risk. But actually having something this short term that's not your A race, but is a race or a event, it becomes a milestone for you to train towards. It actually starts to give you context for your decision making about like why you're choosing this food or why you're choosing this workout. And those are early baby steps to start to build out the framework for what this year is going to look like, not just based off of what you've always done in the past, which will be constant, but where you are right now and how you're feeling, how your body's responding to the training load, and how you perform in this particular event. So you don't want to go too nuts, right? I'm not saying like go ice climbing for a race scenario. Although if you love ice climbing and you're safe and you got all the equipment, go knock yourself out. I'm just saying, let's push ourselves outside of our comfort zone a little bit and see what's possible. This is another great way for you to prepare for the full season and also have a lot of fun while doing it. Just following the same plan over and over again, it can be effective to a point. But if it's just not fun, you have to really ask yourself, like, is it worth it? So hopefully with these 10 points, you've had an opportunity to learn a little bit more about how we think about training inside Endurance Nation and how we try to be really smart about what it is we're doing. Our goal here is not to be crazy. Our goal here is to say, with some subtle changes, 1 or 2, 3, 4, maybe even 6 of these changes, you can fundamentally change your trajectory for the year for the better, and not just athletically, but possibly personally overall, making yourself more well-rested, more well-fed, and a great deal more fun to hang out with. If you've got questions about this, head over to endurancenation.us and ask us. You can find us on Endurance Nation at Instagram /Team Endurance Nation. You can find us on Twitter as well at Team EN, or just go to endurancenation.us. Check us out. In the wintertime now, we're doing our out-season program, which you can find at endurancestation.us/out-season. And as always, you can find us online, any one of those social accounts. We're happy to answer questions and talk back. All right. Hope you're having a fantastic winter season. I hope you picked up 1 or 2 key tips here. And if there's something I missed, whatever you do, don't hold back. Let me know in the comments. Thanks, everyone. Have a fantastic week. Enjoy yourselves. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. Namaste.
Endurance Nation.
Hey, podcast fans. I know you love the podcast because here you are, you're listening to it and you're still listening to me talk right now. Did you know you can get content just like this in your inbox once a month? We send out a great newsletter. We call it, guess what? The Unfair Advantage. That's right. It's our information to you, something that separates you from the competition. If they're not here, then they don't know. But if you are here, then now you do. Zero excuses. If you go check us out online at endurancenation.us/newsletter, it's your opportunity to enter your email address, sign up for these updates. They come once a month, sometimes twice a month, depending on my race schedule. And it's your chance to get insider information that's going to help you become a better, smarter athlete. Don't miss out on this chance to get ahead of the competition. It doesn't cost you any money, and it's not a ton of work. It's just your email address. That's endurancenation.us/newsletter.
For more information about Endurance Nation, visit us online at endurancenation.us. The provided music is from the Podshow Podsafe Music Network. Check it out at music.podshow.com.